My wife bought my son Grayson a game. It was that old that Uno. Tap on the screen if you remember the game Uno. Anybody remember Uno? Okay, that used to be the game. Before the before the iPads, before Facebook, Instagram, Twitter. We sat around as a family and we played Uno. Y'all remember that? Okay. Uno. That was the game. That was back in the day. Okay. Come on, tap on the screen if you remember Uno. That was it. That was the game. And so my wife bought it for my son, and so they started playing Uno, and then so I think I was out of town, and I got back in town, and so he said, "Hey, Dad, I want to play Uno with you." And so, but what I didn't know was a lot of the cards of Uno had changed. Okay, I remember the cards where you got all the colors, and you could switch colors when you got in a bind. I remember this was the reverse. When you were going one way, you could reverse and go another way. Y'all stay with me now. This one here, you remember you playing Uno and you wanted to skip the person that was in front of you. You remember that? So you skipped them. Okay. I think this one here was like a draw two. The person, you laid this down, the person in front of you had to draw two. And it was pretty cool. And so, but what I did know is, as I was playing with my son Grayson, and this was so cool because we were playing, and when me and Grayson play together, whatever game it is, we get pretty competitive, and Heather has to kind of, my wife has to get in between us and tell us to knock it off, or she's going to take the game away. That's how competitive we get. And so, if you know anything about Uno, so this was my hand right here. This was my hand in Uno, kind of like this. So I was doing pretty good. Okay, had three of the same colors, then two of the same colors. I had like a reverse off in there. I was looking pretty good. It's like I was on my way to Uno. Okay, right there. And so this was kind of like what Grayson's hand was reflected. Hey, Brenda. So this is Grayson's hand. Grayson had a lot of stuff in his hand. Okay, and so I'm thinking, wait a minute, man. I'm doing good. I'm about to beat my son in Uno. It's gonna be a great night because I'm about to win. And he's stuck, and I can see the frown on his face and everything. And he's just, man, he's got a bad hand. He's got all these cards in his hand. And I think so many times we sit there and we hold on to things that have happened to us in life, or maybe somebody wronged us, lied about us. Maybe somebody did something that we didn't appreciate. Maybe we didn't get the promotion. Maybe something didn't work out the way you thought it was going to work out. And you just feel like one thing after another. And we have a tendency to collect all of those things. And we can either hold on to them, and they're not doing us any good, and we just gonna get frustrated, just like my son. He's there, and his little 6-year-old mind is like, oh man, this is not looking good. It's not looking good, and because he's looking at my hand, he knows I'm down to 5 cards. And he don't know what these cards are, but he knows I'm down to 5 of them, and so. But then something happened, and here's where I really want to get into the message tonight. Something happened that I was clueless about in this game of Uno. Okay, there my son was feeling like he was dealt a bad hand over a course of time. How many know Uno? Your cards can grow and grow and grow, and he felt like he had a bad hand. And so then all of a sudden he did something that I was unaware of. Okay. He laid down this card here. Now, they didn't have this card back when I played Uno back in the day, but can you see that card? He laid down this card right here. And he knew what this card represented. And so all of a sudden when he laid it down, he had a big smile on his face. And I'm like, okay, what's going on? And so what I didn't know was that if you had this card right here and you laid it down, it allows you to swap hands with anybody in the game. So when Grayson this is so cool. When Grayson pulled this card out, he had this bad hand. He pulled this card out and he laid it down. And then he looked at me, and it allowed him to switch hands with his father. Oh, that is, hope you caught the meaning of that. It allowed him to switch hands with his daddy. And so Grayson realized he didn't like what was in his hand, so he wanted what was in his father's hands. I hope you're getting this. I'm not talking just about Uno, but I'm talking about life. And so the thing of it, when he laid that card down and it allowed him to switch hands, meaning he gave what was in his hand, the disappointment, the discouragement, okay? The bad dealings, the things he didn't like, he gave them over to his father. And his father gave him what was in his hands, which in his father's hands, it was a better hand, okay? It was a better hand. Grayson, 6 years old, had enough sense to know that, okay, I'm not liking what's in my hands, but I've got this one card that's going to give me the privilege to switch hands with my daddy. And I'm here to tell you now, no, maybe you don't have this Uno card right here, but you've got a promise from God, okay? That's your swap hands card, that promise from God. And it's found in Isaiah 61:3. God says, I'm going to give you beauty for ashes. And I'm going to give you the oil of joy instead of mourning and sadness. Listen, I'm telling you, it's time for you to swap hands with your daddy. Because what's in his hand is far greater than what's in your hand.